Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Truth Report for this week. The parashah is entitled Chukat, translated Decree of, and it deals with the Torah portion from Numbers chapter 19, verse 1 through chapter 22, verse 1. That part of the parashah that I want to focus on is from chapter 21, verses 4 through 9. And that has to do with the incident where the children of Israel are complaining to God about his provision, and he sends venomous snakes. But he also sends a solution to what these snakes do to the people. Let me read it. They traveled from Mount Hor, the Jews did, the Israelites did. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew impatient on the way, and they spoke against God, complaining Israel, speaking against God, and against Moses, and they said, why have you brought us up out of Egypt? Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the desert? There's no bread, there's no water, and we detest this miserable food, the manna that God was providing for them every day. And then the Lord sent venomous snakes. That was his answer. That was his response to their complaining. The Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, we have sinned. We have sinned when we spoke against Yahweh and against you. Pray that Yahweh will take the snakes away from us. So Moses prayed for the people. And Yahweh said to Moses, this is God's answer. Yahweh said to Moses, make a snake, put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live. Make a snake, put it on a pole. If you look at it, those who are bitten, if they look at it, they will live. Pretty simple solution. So Moses made a bronze snake, put it on a pole, and then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, he lived. He lived. That was, however, a very temporary solution to the problem. It worked initially, but then, as is often the case with God's solutions, they become idolatrous. And we learn from 2 Kings chapter 18 that Hezekiah he was a godly king in Israel, and he recognized that bronze snake had become an idol to the people of Israel. And so he broke it, he tore it up, destroyed it, and rightly so. But it's interesting that when we come to the New Testament, this very incident is referred to by Jesus, and he identifies himself with it and what he has to offer as well. In John chapter 3, verse 14, Jesus said, just as Moses lifted up the snake in the desert, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, and everyone who believes in him will have eternal life. And then the great passage that we all know, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. But Jesus takes this incident of the bronze snake on a pole and identifies himself. Notice what he says. The Son of Man must be lifted up. Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the desert, the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes in him will have eternal life. He says further in John chapter 12, verse 32, but I, Jesus says, when I am lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men to myself. Jesus on the cross, lifted up. When we look to him, the promise of God is that we will have eternal life. Look to Jesus and you will have life eternal. And that's the truth.